What if I told you there are federal and state programs right now in 2026 that could put real money back into a retiree's monthly budget? And most people never apply simply because they've never heard of them? Today, we're breaking down 3 of them. One tied to a cost that comes out of a Social Security check automatically, one connected to home energy bills, and one that functions as a separate monthly payment on top of Social Security. We'll go through what each one actually is, the current eligibility numbers, and how the application process works. Stick around, because several of these figures changed this year, and the rules around them are often misunderstood. Before getting into the details, it helps to understand where these programs come from. None of them are new. Supplemental Security Income was created by Congress in 1972 as a federal program for older adults and people with disabilities who have limited income. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program was established in 1981, originally in response to rising energy costs. And Medicare Savings Programs are administered at the state level through Medicaid and have existed for decades as a way to help Medicare enrollees with limited income cover their share of costs. These aren't temporary or experimental programs. They're long-standing parts of the federal and state social safety net. What changes from year to year isn't whether they exist, but the income limits and benefit amounts, which are typically adjusted based on inflation and cost of living data. Let's start with the first one, Medicare Savings Programs. If someone is enrolled in Medicare, they're very likely paying a monthly premium for Part B, which covers outpatient care and doctor visits. For 2026, the standard Part B premium is $202.90 a month, up from $185 in 2025. For most people, this amount is deducted automatically from their Social Security payment before it's deposited. Medicare Savings Programs are a group of state-administered programs, funded through Medicaid, that can cover some or all of that. Part B cost for people whose income and resources fall under certain limits. There are actually several versions of this program, and they don't all cover the same things. One version can cover Part B premiums along with deductibles, co-payments, and coinsurance, essentially eliminating most out-of-pocket Medicare costs. Other versions are narrower and only cover the Part B premium itself without touching deductibles or copays. For 2026, in most states, the general income guidelines fall roughly in this range. For a single person, that's approximately $1,350 a month for the most comprehensive version, up to around $1,816 a month for the narrower versions. For a married couple, that's approximately $1,824 a month, up to around $2,455 a month, depending on the version. There are also resource, or asset, limits involved. Generally in the range of about $9,950 for an individual and $14,910 for a couple, though a primary home and a vehicle are typically not counted toward that limit. It's worth noting that these income and resource figures can differ by state. A handful of states use higher limits or don't apply an asset test at all, so confirming directly with a state office is the most reliable way to know for certain. One detail that often surprises people: qualifying for a Medicare Savings Program can also automatically qualify someone for the Extra Help Program, which reduces the cost of Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage, often lowering the drug plan premium, deductible, and co-payments significantly. Another point worth knowing: for the most comprehensive version of this program, federal law prohibits Medicare providers from billing enrollees directly for Medicare cost-sharing amounts. If a bill like that shows up anyway, that's generally something to raise with a state health insurance assistance program or the state Medicaid office. To find out whether someone qualifies, the standard first step is contacting a state health insurance assistance program, commonly known as SHIP, or the state's Medicaid office directly. This guidance is free, and there's no cost to apply for the program itself. Now the second program, Home Energy Assistance, known as LIHEAP, short for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. It's a federally funded program administered at the state level, designed to help eligible households manage heating and cooling costs, and it also includes provisions for emergency situations, such as a utility shutoff notice or a furnace or air conditioner that stopped working. A few details about LIHEAP that are commonly overlooked. It's not limited to winter heating costs. The program also covers summer cooling assistance in most states, which can matter for older adults during periods of extreme heat. Assistance is typically paid directly to the utility company rather than to the household. Funding is allocated annually and distributed at the state level, and it's limited. Once a state's allocation for the year is used up, applications may be paused until the next funding cycle. States often prioritize certain households, and older adults on a fixed income are commonly among the groups given priority consideration. Because the available funding can run out before the year is over, Most state agencies encourage applying earlier in the application period rather than waiting until a bill becomes a problem. To check eligibility and apply, the general approach is to contact a local LIHEAP office directly, or call 211, which connects callers in most parts of the country to local assistance programs, including energy assistance. Applying is free, and no legitimate agency will ever ask for a fee to submit an application. And the third one, Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. This is the program where the most confusion tends to come up, so it's worth slowing down here. Social Security retirement benefits and Supplemental Security Income are two separate federal programs, even though the names are similar, and both are administered by the Social Security Administration. Social Security retirement is based on a person's own work history and what they paid into the system over the years. SSI, on the other hand, is a needs-based program for people who are 65 or older, or who have a qualifying disability, and who have limited income and limited financial resources, regardless of work history. A common misconception is that receiving a Social Security check automatically rules someone out from also receiving SSI. That's not accurate. A person can potentially receive both. The amount of an existing Social Security payment is factored into the SSI calculation, which can reduce the SSI amount, but it doesn't automatically eliminate it. For 2026, following the annual cost of living adjustment, the maximum federal SSI payment is $994 a month for an individual and $1,491 a month for an eligible couple, according to the Social Security Administration. Someone who already has income from Social Security or another source would generally receive less than that maximum, since SSA reduces the payment based on countable income. But a partial SSI payment is still money a household wouldn't otherwise receive. On the resource side, SSI generally requires countable assets to stay under about $2,000 for an individual, or $3,000 for a couple. However, a primary home is generally excluded from that count, and a vehicle used for transportation is typically excluded as well, so owning a home doesn't automatically disqualify someone. Some states also add their own supplemental payment on top of the federal SSI amount, which means the total benefit in certain states can be somewhat higher than the federal figures we just covered. To apply, the process goes directly through the Social Security Administration, online through their website, by phone, or in person at a local field office, and there is no cost to apply. Now, here's something worth keeping in mind. Several of these thresholds move every year because of cost of living adjustments. The SSI benefit amount, the Medicare Part B premium, and in many states, the income limits tied to Medicare Savings Programs. That means someone who checked their eligibility a year or two ago and didn't qualify at the time could get a different result now, simply because the limits themselves shifted upward with inflation. Because of that, it's generally worth rechecking eligibility periodically, rather than assuming a past no is still accurate. A lot of people make that assumption once and never revisit it, even as the qualifying thresholds move over time. Before we wrap up, one important warning. Whenever benefit programs like these get attention, scam attempts tend to follow. A common approach involves someone calling and claiming to represent Medicare, Social Security, or a state agency, saying they need to verify a bank account number, Social Security number, or Medicare number over the phone in order to release a payment or start a benefit. Legitimate federal and state agencies generally don't initiate unsolicited phone calls demanding this kind of sensitive information to release a benefit. If a call like that happens, a safer approach is to end the call and reach out to the agency directly using a verified phone number from an official government website, not a number or link provided by the caller. None of these three programs are related to investing, and none of them require putting money into anything. They're existing federal and state assistance programs built around income and resource eligibility, and they only reach someone if that person actually applies. There's no automatic enrollment and no agency staff member whose job is to reach out and inform people they qualify. The process starts with the individual checking their own eligibility. Taken individually, each program covers a different type of cost: a Medicare premium, a home energy bill, or a monthly income gap. Taken together, for someone who happens to qualify for more than one, the combined effect over a full year can be meaningful, even when no single program covers a large amount on its own. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It was created using an AI-generated avatar and does not constitute financial, legal, or benefits advice. Program eligibility rules, income limits, and benefit amounts can vary by state and are subject to change. Please consult the official Social Security Administration, Medicare.gov, your state Medicaid office, or a licensed financial professional before making any decisions related to your retirement income or benefits. If this information was useful, consider sharing it with someone 65 or older who might not know these programs exist. Sometimes one conversation is what leads someone to actually check. And if you want more plain language breakdowns like this one, covering programs and benefits that often go unclaimed, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.